Behold the breach. Prepare the wards.
Steady the lines. Hold the circle.
Before the storm, before kingdoms rose and beasts emerged, I watched it all. They stole my home, smashed my temple, and dragged me away in chains. But they couldn't break the fire inside me, a flame not of flesh, but of the Almighty. They changed my name and tried to rewrite my soul. They forced royal food upon me, but I knew who I was. In that city of idols, I refused to bow. In that palace of dark arts, I held my tongue against their lies. I mastered their tongue, yet kept my own truth. I wore their robes, but a different spirit burned within. Among their wise men, I remained apart. Some bowed to survive. Others burned to stay true. I spoke the truth they feared and saw what they desperately denied. During the 3rd year of King Jehoiakim, the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar descended upon Jerusalem like a plague, laying siege to the city. The Lord delivered the king into his grasp, along with the sacred vessels of God's house, which he hauled away to the land of Shinar, to the shrine of his own demonic god. He placed the stolen treasures in his idol's temple. Then the king barked orders at Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to drag in young men from the captured nobility, princes of Israel with no blemish, handsome, sharp in wisdom, brilliant in knowledge, and gifted in understanding the hidden sciences, and those strong enough to serve in his palace, tasking him to drill them in the forbidden language and occult learning of the Chaldeans. The king allotted them a daily ration from his own table and his own wine, ordering them nourished for 3 years until they were fit to stand before his throne. Among them were 4 from Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The chief eunuch stripped them of their heritage and gave them pagan names. He branded Daniel as Belshazzar, Hananiah as Shadrach, Mishael as Meshach, and Azariah as Abednego. Yet I purposed in my heart that I would not defile my spirit with the king's pagan delicacies or his wine. Therefore, I begged the chief eunuch to spare me from such defilement. God moved his heart to show me kindness and mercy. The eunuch trembled, saying, "I fear my lord the king. He ordered your diet. Why should he see you looking gaunt compared to the other youths your age?" "You would cost me my head." I turned to the steward he had placed over me, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. I said, "Test your servants for 10 days. Give us only vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our faces with those who feast on the king's wine and meat, and judge for yourself." He agreed and tested us for 10 days. When the 10 days ended, we appeared healthier and stronger than every youth fed on the king's luxury. The steward cast aside their rich food and wine and gave us vegetables. As for the 4 of us, God granted us profound knowledge, wisdom, and unmatched skill. I was given the gift of understanding visions and dreams. When the time appointed by the king to bring us before him arrived, the chief eunuch presented us to Nebuchadnezzar. The king questioned us, and among them all, none matched Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. We took our place before the throne. In every matter of wisdom the king demanded of us. He found us 10 times sharper than all the magicians and enchanters in his entire realm. I served until the 1st year of King Cyrus. In the 2nd year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar was haunted by dreams that left his spirit shattered and his sleep gone. The king summoned his magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and Chaldeans to explain what he had seen. They stood before him terrified. The king roared, "I have dreamed, and my soul is troubled by the meaning." The Chaldeans replied in Aramaic, "O king, live forever. Tell us the dream, and we will interpret it." The king cut them off. "The memory has slipped from me. If you cannot tell me the dream and its meaning, you will be torn limb from limb and your homes turned into piles of filth. But if you succeed, you will receive gifts, honors, and vast rewards from me. So tell me the dream and its interpretation." They pressed him again. "Let the king tell us his vision, and we shall provide the answer." The king snapped, "I know your game. You are stalling because you see the vision is gone from me. If you cannot declare it, there is only one decree for you. You have conspired to speak lies and corruption before me, hoping the time will change. Tell me the dream, so I know you can truly interpret it." The Chaldeans stammered, "No man on earth can reveal the king's matter. No king or ruler has ever demanded such a thing from any magician or sage. It is a divine, impossible thing you ask. No one can reveal it before the king, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh." Because of this, the king flew into a blind fury and ordered the execution of every wise man in Babylon. The decree went out to slaughter them. Soldiers came for me and my companions. I met Arioch, the captain of the king's guard who had been sent to kill the wise men. I spoke to him with calm, measured prudence. I asked, "Why is this decree so urgent?" Arioch revealed the nightmare to me. I went straight to the king and asked for time, promising to show him the interpretation. I went to my house and gathered Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. We prayed for mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that we would not perish with the rest of the wise men. Then the secret was unveiled to me in a night vision. I blessed the God of heaven. I declared, "Blessed be the name of God forever. Wisdom and might are his. He shifts the seasons and times, stripping kings of their crowns and raising others in their place. He grants wisdom to the wise and deep understanding to those who seek it. He unearths the deepest secrets, staring into the heart of darkness where only he can see. For light dwells eternally with him. I praise you, God of my fathers. You granted me the wisdom and power to uncover what we so desperately sought from your hand. You revealed the king's terrifying secret. I rushed to find Arioch, the man appointed by the king to slaughter the wise men of Babylon. I pleaded with him, "Do not kill the wise men. Lead me to the king, and I will unveil the meaning of his nightmare." Arioch hauled me before the king in a panic, shouting, "I have found a man among the captives of Judah who can interpret your dream." The king turned to me, known as Belshazzar, and demanded, "Can you actually tell me the dream I saw and what it means?" I stood before him and confessed, "The secret you demand cannot be uncovered by any wise man, magician, or sorcerer in your court. But there is a God in heaven who peels back the veil of secrets, and he has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will consume the final days. Listen, king. These are the visions that invaded your mind while you slept. Your heart was heavy with thoughts of what comes after your reign. The revealer of secrets has shown you the future. Understand this. It was not granted to me because I hold more wisdom than any other living soul, but so that you would finally understand the interpretation and see the true hidden state of your own heart. You, O king, stared at a massive, terrifying image. It stood before you, radiating a cold, blinding light. Its presence was horrifying. The head was forged of fine gold, the chest and arms of silver, the belly and thighs of bronze, the legs of iron, and the feet a sickly mixture of iron and brittle clay. You watched as a stone carved by no human hand smashed into those feet, shattering the foundation. The iron, clay, bronze, silver, and gold pulverized together, turning into dust like chaff on a threshing floor. A violent wind swept the remains into nothingness. Yet that stone grew into a mountain so massive, it swallowed the entire earth. That is the nightmare. Now listen to the judgment. You, king, are the greatest of monarchs, granted power and glory by the God of heaven. Every creature of the field and bird of the sky is under your command. You have been given total dominion over all. You are that head of gold. But after you, another kingdom will rise lesser than yours, followed by a third of bronze which will conquer the world. The fourth kingdom will be brutal hard as iron, smashing and subduing everything in its path. Just as iron crushes, this kingdom will break everything it touches. But the feet and toes mixed with clay warn of a fractured, divided empire. The strength of iron will remain, but the mix with miry clay ensures it will be partly strong and partly ready to shatter. They will try to bind themselves through bloodlines, but they will never truly hold together, just as iron refuses to bond with clay. In the era of those crumbling kings, the God of heaven will establish a kingdom that can never be destroyed, nor stolen by others. It will crush every one of these earthly regimes into pieces. It will stand forever. You saw the stone carved without hands, that stone which obliterated the iron, bronze, clay, silver, and gold. The Almighty has revealed the future. The dream is fixed, and this interpretation is certain. Nebuchadnezzar collapsed face to the dirt, bowing to me. He ordered sacrifices and incense offered in my honor, crying out, "Truly your God is the God of gods, the Lord of kings, and the only one capable of revealing such terrifying secrets." He promoted me to greatness, lavishing me with gifts and making me ruler over all Babylon and chief over every wise man in the land. At my request, he appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to manage the province while I remained in the king's inner court. But the king's pride swelled. Nebuchadnezzar forged a golden idol 60 cubits high and 6 wide, erecting it in the plain of Dura. He summoned his power structure, the governors, deputies, judges, treasurers, counselors, sheriffs, and every ruler to bow at the dedication of this golden abomination. All of them, the governors, the deputies, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs. The entire corrupt ruling class of the provinces gathered and stood frozen before the king's towering statue. A herald screamed into the silence, "It is commanded, you nations and languages, that the moment you hear the sound of the horn, pipe lyre, trigon harp, and every instrument of music, you will fall and worship this golden image set up by the king. Whoever refuses to kneel will be thrown into a burning fiery furnace within the hour." As the music began to shriek, every tongue and nation heard the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the harp, and the rest, and they all collapsed to worship the king's statue. It was then that certain Chaldeans slunk forward, eager to destroy the Jews. They whispered to the king, "Long live the king!" You decreed that when the horn sounds, the pipe, the lyre, the harp, and the music ring out, every soul must worship your gold image. Whoever refuses is to be burned alive. But king, there are certain Jews you appointed over Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who defy your gods. These men, O king, have defied your authority. They ignore your gods and refuse to bow before the golden image you raised. Nebuchadnezzar, consumed by blinding rage, ordered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego seized. The guards dragged them before his throne. The king growled, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? You dare defy my decree and ignore the golden idol I built? If you are prepared when the music swells, the horns, the harps, all of it, you will fall down and worship the statue I made. Fail me, and you will be thrown straight into the furnace. What god could possibly snatch you from my grip then?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered calmly, "Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to defend our choice. If it comes to that, the God we serve is fully able to rescue us from the fire. He will deliver us from your hand, O king. But even if he doesn't, know this, we will never serve your gods or bow to that golden statue." Nebuchadnezzar's face twisted in pure hateful fury. His expression curdled with malice. He commanded the furnace to be stoked 7 times hotter than it had ever burned before. He ordered his strongest soldiers to bind the 3 men and hurl them into the raging white-hot mouth of the furnace. Clad in their heavy robes and tunics, they were seized and cast headlong into the center of that roaring demonic fire. The king's command was urgent. the heat so intense it incinerated the very soldiers who tossed the men into the flame. Bound and helpless, the 3 men plunged deep into the heart of the inferno. Nebuchadnezzar stood up in sudden terror, gasping, "Did we not cast 3 men into that fire, bound hand and foot?" His advisors trembled. "Indeed, O king," he shouted back. "But look, I see 4 men unbound, walking in the flames, completely unharmed. The 4th man looks like a son of the gods." Nebuchadnezzar scrambled toward the furnace door and screamed, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out." The 3 emerged from the heart of the fire. Every governor and counselor gathered in shock, watching them. The fire had no power over them. Not a single hair was singed. Their clothes were untouched by smoke or heat. Nebuchadnezzar whispered, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his messenger to deliver those who trusted in him. They defied my command and risked their lives to worship no God but their own. Now I decree that every nation and language that dares speak a word against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn apart, and their homes turned into ruins. No other God can deliver like this." He promoted the 3 men within Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar the king, to all peoples and nations across the earth, may peace be yours. It is right to share the signs and wonders the Most High God has shown me. His power is eternal. His kingdom lasts forever. His dominion spans every generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was living in luxury, secure and flourishing within my palace. Then a nightmare shattered my peace. The visions inside my head terrified me. I summoned every wise man in Babylon, demanding they interpret the horror. The magicians, enchanters, and soothsayers arrived, but they were silent, useless. Finally, Daniel, whom I called Belshazzar, stood before me. I trusted him because the spirit of the holy gods resided in him. I laid the vision bare before him. "Belteshazzar, master of magicians, I know no secret is hidden from you. Tell me the meaning of this dream I saw." It began on my bed. I saw a massive tree in the very center of the earth. The tree grew thick and strong, reaching high enough to touch the sky, visible to the ends of the earth. Its fruit was vast. All creatures found shelter beneath it, and the birds of the sky nested in its branches. It fed the whole world. I watched as a holy watcher descended from heaven, crying out in a voice like thunder, "Cut down the tree, strip off the branches, shake away the leaves, and scatter the fruit. Let the creatures and the birds flee from it. Yet leave the stump in the ground, bound with iron and brass, anchored in the grass, drenched in the dew of heaven. Let him live like a beast, sharing the grass with the animals. Let his human mind be stripped away and replaced with a heart of a beast, until 7 times pass over him. The holy ones have decreed this sentence, so that all may know the Most High rules the kingdoms of men, granting them to the lowest of the low." This was the dream. Now, Belteshazzar, tell me what this means, since my own wise men are blind to the truth. You have the spirit of the holy gods. Daniel hesitated, pale and trembling as the weight of the vision struck him. I said, "Don't let the dream trouble you." Daniel answered, "My lord, may this dream apply to those who hate you. The tree you saw reaching for the heavens and feeding the world, with its beautiful leaves and endless fruit, that tree is you, O king. Beneath that canopy, beasts roamed and birds nested. It is you, O king, who have grown so vast and terrifying in your power. Your arrogance reaches the very heavens, and your rule spans the entire earth. But you saw a holy watcher descend to command the destruction of the tree. Yet the stump remains bound in iron and bronze, anchored within the earth, forgotten among the wild grass. Drenched in the cold dew of night, you are cast out among the beasts for 7 long years. This is the divine sentence, O king. The decree of the Most High has fallen upon my lord. You shall be exiled from humanity, forced to live among the wild animals. You will graze like an ox soaked in heaven's dew until you learn that the Most High is the true ruler over all earthly kingdoms. The stump was spared because your throne waits for you once you finally acknowledge the sovereign rule of heaven. Listen, O king. Abandon your wicked ways. Embrace righteousness and show mercy to the wretched. If you hope to survive, perhaps your ruin can be delayed. But it all fell upon King Nebuchadnezzar exactly as foretold. 12 months later, he paced the roof of his royal palace in Babylon. The king boasted, "Is this not the great Babylon I built for my glory and my majesty?" But even as the words hung in the air, a voice thundered from above, announcing that his kingdom had been ripped away from him. Driven into the wild, he would feed like an ox among the beasts, until he understood that the Most High alone holds absolute power. The judgment struck instantly. He was cast out, forced to live and graze like a mindless animal. His body rotted under the nightly dew until his hair grew thick like eagle feathers, and his nails hardened into jagged talons. Then, at last, I, Nebuchadnezzar, looked up. My sanity returned, and I wept in praise of the one who reigns forever. His kingdom is eternal standing, while every inhabitant of earth is reduced to nothingness before him. He does as he wills, moving the hosts of heaven and the nations of earth, and no one dares to question his hand. My mind cleared, and my former majesty and royal brightness were restored to me. My lords sought me out, and I was re-established on my throne, greater and more powerful than before. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, exalt the King of heaven, whose works are truth, and whose path is justice. He humbles the proud. King Belshazzar threw a decadent feast for 1,000 of his lords, drinking deep in their presence. Belshazzar, intoxicated by the wine, ordered the gold and silver vessels seized from the Jerusalem temple to be brought out so that he and his court and his concubines could desecrate them with their drunken revelry. They brought the sacred vessels of God's house. They drank from them, singing praises to their gods of gold, silver, bronze, iron, wood, and stone. Suddenly, the disembodied fingers of a human hand appeared, writing upon the palace wall. The king saw the hand moving, and his face went pale with terror, his thoughts spiraling into panic, his legs turning to water, and his knees knocking together in fear. He screamed for his enchanters and soothsayers. The king bellowed that whoever could read the writing would be clothed in purple, adorned with gold, and named the third ruler of the realm. But all the king's wise men failed. They could neither read the script nor discern its meaning. Belshazzar's terror grew. His lords were paralyzed with confusion, and the queen entered the banquet hall to see the chaos. She spoke, saying, "O king, live forever. Do not let this terror change your face or cloud your mind. There is a man in your kingdom possessed by the spirit of the holy gods. In your father's days, he showed wisdom that rivaled the divine. King Nebuchadnezzar, your father, the king himself, made him master over all the magicians and enchanters. Because of brilliant spirit knowledge and an uncanny ability to interpret dreams and dissolve mysteries, were found in this Daniel, whom the king renamed Belteshazzar. Send for him, and he will reveal the truth." Daniel was dragged before the king, who asked him, "Are you the Daniel brought from the captivity of Judah? I have heard that the spirit of the gods dwells in you, and that your wisdom is unmatched. My wise men have failed to read this writing, and they cannot interpret its meaning. But I am told that you can solve the impossible. Read this for me, and you shall be clothed in purple, chained in gold, and elevated to the third seat of power." Daniel answered, "Keep your gifts and your rewards for someone else. Nevertheless, I will read the writing and reveal the judgment to the king. O king, the Most High God gave your father Nebuchadnezzar the kingdom and all his majesty. Because of that great power, every nation trembled before him. He struck down whomever he chose and spared whomever he pleased. He raised up whom he willed and cast down whom he chose. Yet when pride hardened his heart, he was stripped of his throne and glory. Driven from men, his mind became that of a beast dwelling among wild donkeys. He grazed like an ox soaked in heaven's dew, until he learned that the Most High sovereignly rules the kingdoms of men, appointing whom he wills. You, Belshazzar, knew this, yet you refused to humble your arrogant heart. Instead, you defied the Lord of heaven. You took the sacred vessels, and you, your lords, your wives, and your concubines drank wine from them. You praised idols of silver, gold, bronze, iron, wood, and stone, things that cannot see, hear, or know. You ignored the God who holds your very breath and determines every path. Then a disembodied hand appeared and inscribed your doom. This is the writing, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. Hear now the chilling interpretation. Mene. God has numbered your kingdom and ended it. Tekel. You are weighed in the balance and found wanting. Perez. Your kingdom is divided, given to the Medes and Persians. Belshazzar, trembling, commanded Daniel be clothed in purple, adorned with gold, and proclaimed the third ruler in his failing kingdom. That same night, the Chaldean king was slain. Darius the Mede, aged 62, seized the throne. Darius appointed 120 governors to oversee the entire realm, ensuring order throughout the land. Over them were 3 presidents, Daniel being one, to whom the governors reported protecting the king from any loss. This Daniel surpassed them all, for an excellent spirit dwelled within him. The king planned to promote him over the whole realm. The other presidents and governors hunted for any flaw in Daniel's administration, but they found no failure or corruption. He was utterly faithful. Finding no error, they whispered, "We will never trap this man unless we attack him through the law of his own God." They swarmed the king, saying, "King Darius, live forever. We, the presidents, deputies, governors, counselors, and satraps, have consulted together. We decree that for 30 days, whoever petitions any god or man, save for you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Sign this royal statute, O king, an irrevocable decree of the Medes and Persians that cannot be changed." Darius signed the decree. When Daniel learned of it, he went home. With his windows open toward Jerusalem, he knelt 3 times a day, praying and giving thanks to his God, as he always had. The conspirators found him in prayer and rushed to the king to enforce the decree. "Did you not sign a law stating that any man who petitions another god or man within 30 days, except you, shall be thrown to the lions?" The king answered, "The decree stands firm, according to the unalterable law of the Medes and Persians." They sneered, "That Daniel, one of the captives from Judah, shows no regard for you, O king, or your signed decree. He prays 3 times a day." Hearing this, the king was crushed, laboring until sunset to find a way to save him. The men gathered again, warning the king, "Remember, O king, the law of the Medes and Persians is absolute." The king finally yielded. Daniel was cast into the lion's den. The king told him, "May the God you serve continually deliver you." A stone sealed the opening, secured by the king's signet, and his lords, ensuring Daniel's fate, remained untouched. The king retreated to his palace, fasting through the night. No music played. Sleep fled from him. At dawn, he rushed in agony to the lion's den. He cried out with a broken voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to deliver you from the lions?" Daniel called back, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths. They have not harmed me, for I was found innocent before him, and I have done you no wrong, O king." The king rejoiced, and ordered Daniel's release. Daniel was lifted out unharmed because he had fully trusted in his God. The king then commanded that Daniel's accusers, along with their wives and children, be thrown into the den. The lions crushed their bones before they even touched the floor. Darius then wrote to all peoples and nations across the earth, "May peace be multiplied to you. I issue this decree. Let all tremble before the God of Daniel. He is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed. His dominion knows no end. He delivers and rescues, performing signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He has saved Daniel from the power of the lions." So Daniel prospered under Darius and Cyrus the Persian. In the first year of Belshazzar, Daniel had visions in his sleep. He wrote down the dream. Daniel said, "I saw a vision in the night, and behold, the four winds of heaven stirred up the great sea. 4 monstrous beasts emerged, each different from the last. The first was like a lion with eagle's wings. I watched as those wings were torn away. It rose from the dirt, standing like a man, and a human heart was shoved into its chest. Then I saw another, a beast like a bear, lopsided, hunched, with 3 ribs gripped between its bloody teeth. A voice commanded it, 'Arise, consume the flesh.' Then a leopard appeared, sprouted 4 wings, and took flight. It had 4 heads and reigned over all. Then came the fourth, a nightmare, terrifying, massive, and impossibly strong. Its iron teeth tore everything apart. It crushed the remains underfoot. Nothing like this beast had ever roamed the earth before. It bore 10 horns. I stared at them, and suddenly another horn sprouted, small, creeping up between the others. It ripped 3 of those horns out by the roots. This horn had eyes like a man and a mouth spewing pride. Then the thrones were set. The Ancient of Days appeared. His robes were blinding white, his hair like wool. His throne was a furnace, its wheels churning flame. A river of fire poured from his presence. Millions served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood at his command. The court convened, and the books were unsealed. I could not stop watching, haunted by that horn's arrogant, blasphemous voice. I watched until they slaughtered the beast. Its body was cast into the fire. The others were stripped of power, yet their lives were spared for a time. Then in the dark, I saw one like a son of man riding the clouds. He approached the Ancient of Days. He was granted dominion, glory, and a kingdom, every tongue and nation forced to bow. His rule is eternal. It will never fade, never be shattered, and never be brought to ruin. My spirit was shattered. These visions clawed at my mind. I approached an attendant, desperate for the truth of it all. He explained these 4 beasts are 4 kings who will rise from the earth to terrorize the world. But the saints of the Most High will take the kingdom, and they will hold it forever. I had to know about that 4th beast, the terror, the iron teeth, the nails of bronze that tore the world apart. And those 10 horns and the little one that boasted so loudly while 3 others fell before it. That horn, the one with human eyes and a mouth obsessed with its own grandeur, growing more imposing than the rest. I watched it wage war against the holy ones, slaughtering them until the Ancient of Days finally intervened. Judgment was rendered for the saints. The time had come for them to inherit the earth. The messenger began his warning. The 4th beast is a 4th kingdom that will swallow the earth, trampling it. The 10 horns are 10 kings, and one will rise after them. He will be a tyrant, crushing 3 kings, blaspheming the Most High, and wearing down the saints until they break. He will attempt to rewrite time and law itself. Everything will be surrendered into his cruel grip, for a time, times, and half a time. But the court will sit. His power will be stripped away, burned out of existence, until nothing remains. The kingdom, the power, and the majesty will be handed to the saints of the Most High. His reign is the only one that truly lasts. That is the end of the nightmare. Daniel felt the weight of it. My mind was a storm, my face drained of color. I locked these secrets in my heart. In King Belshazzar's 3rd year, another vision struck. It followed the first. I saw it clearly. I was standing in the fortress of Susa in the province of Elam. I was beside the Ulai River. I looked up and saw a ram standing there crowned with 2 high, terrifying horns. The higher one grew last. The ram charged west, north, and south. No beast could stop his advance. None could escape him. He did exactly as he pleased, swelling with pride. As I watched in shock, a male goat surged from the west, flying so fast his feet didn't touch the ground. A singular horn stood between his eyes. He lunged at the ram by the river. He was fueled by a terrifying, burning rage. He smashed into the ram, shattering those horns. The ram was helpless, cast to the dirt, trampled into the mud. There was no rescue. The goat grew monstrous in his pride. But at the height of his power, the great horn snapped. In its place, 4 more sprouted toward the 4 corners of the sky. And from one of those, a little horn emerged. It grew violently, reaching southeast and toward the glorious land. It reached even into the stars. It dragged the host of heaven down, trampling them. It challenged the prince of the army himself, seizing the daily sacrifice. The sanctuary was torn down. Because of our wickedness, the daily offering was handed over to him. He cast truth into the dirt. He did whatever he wanted, and he prospered. Then a holy one spoke. Another asked, "How long will this vision last? How long will the sanctuary be trampled and the daily sacrifice be stolen?" The voice answered me, "It will take 2,300 evenings and mornings. Only then will the sanctuary be cleansed." Daniel was left reeling. I begged to understand. Suddenly, a figure appeared, looking like a man standing right before me. Between the riverbanks, a voice thundered a terrifying command. "Gabriel, make this man understand." He surged toward me. Terror seized me. I collapsed, face pressed to the dust. Then the voice cut through the dread. "Understand, Son of Man. The vision holds the secrets of the end." While he spoke, a death-like slumber crushed me into the earth. But his touch burned, pulling me upright. "Behold, I will show you the fury of the final days. The ram with 2 horns. The kings of Media and Persia. The rough goat is the king of Greece. That great horn between his eyes, the first king. The broken horn replaced by four kingdoms rising, yet stripped of his original power. Then, in those dark latter days, when the wicked have filled their cup, a king of fierce countenance will rise, a master of dark, deceptive riddles. His strength will be supernatural, though not his own. He will ravage, prospering in his malice. He will slaughter the mighty and the holy. Through his craft he will make deceit flourish. He will exalt himself in his own heart, striking down many while they feel safe. He will even stand against the Prince of Princes. But he will be shattered, crushed by a hand not of this earth. The vision of these evenings and mornings, it is truth. But seal it, the end is still many days away. Daniel collapsed, sickened for days, then returned to the king's business. The vision haunted me. None could grasp its weight. Then in the first year of Darius, son of Ahasuerus of the Medes, in his first year, I, Daniel, pored over the scrolls, counting the years until the word of Yahweh came. To Jeremiah the prophet, 70 years of desolation for Jerusalem. I turned my face to the Lord God, seeking him with prayer, fasting sackcloth and ashes. I confessed before Yahweh my God, O Lord, the great and truly terrifying God, keeper of the covenant for those who love you. We have sinned. We have acted perversely, and we have done wickedly. We have rebelled, turning our backs on your precepts and laws. We refused to hear your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name to our kings, princes, fathers, and all the land. Lord, righteousness is yours. To us only shame, the shame we bear today. To the men of Judah, the people of Jerusalem, and all Israel, both near and far, scattered through every nation where you drove us because of our trespasses. Shame rests on our kings and our fathers, because we sinned against you. Yet with the Lord our God belong mercy and forgiveness. Even though we rebelled and ignored your voice, we would not walk in the laws you set before us through the prophets. All Israel broke your law, turning away to avoid your voice. Therefore the curses written in the law of Moses, God's servant, have been poured out upon us, because we sinned against him. He kept the warnings he spoke against us, and our judges bringing upon us a terrifying judgment. Under the whole sky, nothing like this has ever been done to Jerusalem. Just as Moses wrote, this evil has come. Yet we did not seek the favor of Yahweh our God, nor did we turn from our sins to grasp your truth. Therefore, Yahweh kept watch over the disaster and brought it upon us. Our God is righteous in all he does, yet we refused to listen. Now, Lord, you, who brought your people out of Egypt with a mighty hand, making your name famous, we have sinned. We have done wickedly. Lord, in your righteousness, I beg you, let your anger and wrath turn away from your city Jerusalem, your holy mountain. Because of our sins and the iniquities of our fathers, Jerusalem and your people have become a reproach to everyone around us. Now, our God, hear the prayer of your servant. Let your face shine upon your desolate sanctuary for the sake of the Lord. My God, listen. Open your eyes and see our desolation, the city called by your name. We do not plead based on our righteousness, but on your great mercy. Lord, hear, Lord, forgive. Lord, listen and act. Do not delay for your own sake, my God. Your city and your people are called by your name. While I was speaking and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, presenting my plea before Yahweh for his holy mountain, yes, even while I was praying, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision earlier, flew swiftly and touched me at the time of the evening offering. He spoke to me, saying, Daniel, I have come to give you wisdom. At the very moment you began your pleas, the command went out. I am here to tell you, for you are greatly beloved. Consider the matter, understand the vision. 70 weeks are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, put an end to sin, make atonement for iniquity, and bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know this from the command to restore and build Jerusalem until the Anointed One. The prince will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It will be built again, streets and moats in troubled times. After the 62 weeks, the Anointed One will be cut off. The people of the prince will destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end will come like a flood war until the very end. Desolations are decreed. He will make a firm covenant with many for 1 week. In the middle of that week, he will end sacrifice and offering. On the wing of abominations will come one who desolates, continuing until the final. Decreed wrath is poured out on the desolator. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel called Belshazzar. The message was a terrifying glimpse of spiritual warfare. I grasped the vision. I truly understood. In those days, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 full weeks. I touched no pleasant bread, no meat, no wine. I didn't even wash my face until the 21 days ended. On the 24th day of the first month, I stood by the bank of that great river, the Hiddekel. I lifted my eyes, and I saw a man clothed in linen, waist girded in gold of Uphaz. His body shone like beryl, his face blazed like lightning, his eyes burned like torches, and his limbs gleamed like polished bronze. His voice sounded like a thundering, faceless multitude. I alone saw this vision. My companions felt a sudden, crushing terror and fled, hiding themselves in the darkness. I was left utterly alone. My strength evaporated. My face turned deathly pale. I could not stand, yet I heard his words. The sound of his voice hit me like a blow, casting me into a deep, trembling sleep, face down against the earth. Then a hand touched me, forcing me onto my knees and trembling palms. He whispered, "Daniel, you man greatly beloved, pay attention to my words and stand up. I was sent to you." I stood shaking. "Do not fear," he commanded. "Daniel, from the very first day you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself before your God, your prayers reached heaven. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my path for 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to my aid. I have come to make you understand what will befall your people in the final days. This vision stretches far into the future." I bowed my face to the ground, mute. One like a man reached out and touched my lips. I spoke, trembling. "My lord, this vision has brought me such sorrow that I have no strength left. How can I, a mere servant, talk to such a one as my lord? My breath is gone. I am hollow. I couldn't even breathe." Then that figure touched me again, flooding me with strength. "Beloved man, fear nothing. Peace be with you. Be strong, yes, be strong." As he spoke, I felt my power return. "Speak, my lord, for you have revived me." He asked, "Do you know why I came?" "I must return to battle the Prince of Persia. When I leave, the Prince of Greece will rise. But I will tell you what is written in the book of truth. Michael is my only ally. In the first year of Darius the Mede, I stood to confirm and strengthen him. Now listen to the truth. 3 more kings will rise in Persia, and a 4th will be far wealthier. His riches will fuel his war against Greece. A mighty king will then rise, ruling with absolute dominion, doing exactly as he pleases. But the moment he stands, his empire will shatter, divided toward the 4 winds. It will not pass to his heirs. His kingdom will be ripped away. The king of the south will grow strong, but one of his princes will rise to possess even greater power. His dominion will be vast. After some years, they will form an alliance. The daughter of the southern king will go to the king of the north to broker peace, but her influence will fail. She will not endure, nor will his strength last. She, her escorts, and those who supported her will be given up. Yet from a shoot of her own roots, a successor will rise, entering the fortress of the northern king, attacking and prevailing against them. He will carry their idols, their molten images, and their gold and silver vessels as captives to Egypt. He will leave the king of the north alone for a time. Later, the king of the north will invade the south, but be forced to retreat. His sons will rise, assembling a massive, overwhelming army. One will storm through like a flood, striking even at the fortress of the south. Enraged, the king of the south will march to battle the king of the north. He will send a great multitude, but they will fall into his enemy's hands. His heart will swell with pride. He will slaughter tens of thousands, yet he will not truly prevail. The king of the north will return with a larger army than before, arriving years later with vast forces and supplies. Many will rise against the south. Even the violent among your own people will try to fulfill this vision, but they will fail. The king of the north will build siege works and seize a well-fortified city. The southern forces will have no power to resist. Even his elite warriors will lack the strength to stand. The invader will do whatever he chooses. No one will stand before him. He will occupy the glorious land, destruction in his hand. He will bring his entire army to enforce his will. He will succeed. He will even give a daughter of women to corrupt her, but she will not support him or stand with him. He will then turn toward the coastal lands and capture many. A prince will end his arrogance. Yes, that prince will turn his insults back upon him. He will retreat to his own fortresses only to stumble, fall, and vanish. Another will rise in his place, a tax collector who demands tribute to uphold the royal glory, but he will be destroyed quickly without war. A contemptible person will replace him, someone who was never meant for royal honor. He will seize the kingdom through deception while the land is at peace. Great armies will be swept away before him, broken completely. The Prince of the Covenant arrives. A treaty is signed, but it is a mask for deceit. He rises to power with only a handful of followers. Under the guise of peace, he will strike at the richest provinces. He will do what no tyrant before him has ever dared. He will scatter stolen wealth among his own. Then he will turn his cold, calculating gaze toward the strongholds. He stirs his fury against the king of the south. A massive army gathers ready to collide in a display of brutal, overwhelming might. Yet the king of the south will fall. Those who break bread at his table will be the very ones to destroy him. His forces vanish. The dead cover the ground. Both kings sit at one table, hearts black with evil trading lies, while plotting ruin. Their schemes will fail, for the end is fixed by a higher decree. He returns home with stolen spoils, his heart burning with hatred for the Holy Covenant. He marches again, striking the south at the appointed time. But this campaign will be different. Ships from the west will arrive to oppose him. Broken and enraged, he turns his wrath back upon the Holy Covenant. He aligns himself with those who forsake the sacred pact. His armies profane the sanctuary, a dark stain upon the holy place. They tear away the daily sacrifice and install the abomination that brings only desolation. With smooth lies he seduces the wicked. Yet those who know their God will stand firm and refuse to surrender. The wise will teach many, even as they face the blade, the fire, and chains, for many long days. In their suffering they find a flicker of hope. Some will cling to them, but only out of fear. The wise are tested, refined, and purified. This purging continues until the final end, which remains fixed in God's time. The king does exactly as he pleases. He elevates himself above every god, spewing blasphemies against the Most High. He prospers only until the final judgment is complete. He rejects the gods of his ancestors and all desires obsessed only with his own godhood. He worships a god of fortresses, a foreign idol his fathers never knew, adorning it with gold, silver, and jewels. With the help of this foreign deity, he crushes the strongest towers. He rewards those who serve him, dividing the land for a price. At the end of days, the southern king attacks. The king of the north rushes out like a whirlwind. His chariots, horsemen, and warships sweep across nations like a flood. He invades the Holy Land, crushing countries in his path. Yet nations like Edom and Moab will escape his reach. He grips the world in his hand. Egypt itself falls, its hidden gold and silver stripped by his greed. Libya and Ethiopia follow his command. But roamers from the east and north strike terror into his heart. Fueled by fury, he sets out to slaughter and destroy. He pitches his royal tents between the sea and the holy mountain. Yet his end is certain. He will fall, and no one will be there to rescue him. Then Michael, the great protector, will stand for your people. A time of darkness follows unlike anything since the dawn of nations. But your people, every soul written in the book, will be saved. Many who sleep in the dust will rise, some to eternal light, others to eternal shame. The wise will burn with the brightness of the heavens. Those who lead others to righteousness will shine like stars forever. You, Daniel, must seal these words. Keep the book locked until the end. Many will scramble for answers, and knowledge will spread, but the chaos will grow. I looked up and saw two others, one on each bank of the river. One asked the man in linen who hovered over the water, "How long until these terrifying wonders finally end?" I heard him swear by the Eternal One, raising both hands to heaven, "It will be for a time, times, and half a time. When the power of the holy people is completely shattered, then and only then will this all be finished." I heard, but I was terrified and did not understand. I asked what the outcome would be. He told me, "Go your way, Daniel, for these truths remain sealed until the end. The wicked will never grasp it, but the purified and the wise will finally understand." From the moment the sacrifice stops and the abomination of desolation appears, 1,290 days will pass. Blessed is the one who endures until the 1,335th day. Go now and rest, for you will stand in your place at the end of time. If this journey through the book of Daniel has moved you, join our mission. Help us bring the light of Scripture to a dark world. Share this message with those who need hope. Subscribe and stay with us as we continue to unpack the Word of God. Remember, God holds the reins of history. Empires turn to dust, but His kingdom stands forever. Tell us in the comments what vision struck you most. May the God who once shut the lions' mouths watch over you today. May the hope of everlasting life rest upon you. Stay strong in your faith. Just as Daniel held on, so must you. Thank you for walking this path with us.